Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Kidomaki here. Today we're going to talk about my theory on why All For One is a Nomu. Now this theory really came to mind when I was creating my Gigantomachia and Kirishima theory video. But what really sparked this was a single line from Dr. Uchiko, or Dr. Garaki because that's what his name is now. And that line was, and I quote, "and is able to wield multiple quirks without needing any modifications." And this was in reference to Gigantomachia. Now, I want you guys to understand what this really means. This means that even though Gigantomachia was experimented on and given multiple quirks, he is not a Nomu. And this is because he was not modified in any way. He is naturally capable of handling multiple quirks. Now you might be thinking, yeah, but this has nothing to do with All For One, when in actuality it has everything to do with All For One. Gigantomachia and All For One shares many similarities, whether it be their ability to handle multiple quirks or having multiple quirks in the first place. And you could also say, well, since Gigantomachia shares those similarities with All For One and he's not a Nomu, then All For One is also not a Nomu. Which could be true, but then what's the point of a theory video if not to believe otherwise? Now the key difference between All For One and Gigantomachia is that All For One has already died. He died at the hands of All Might when they first fought, as depicted by this image which shows All Might kneeling over the headless corpse of All For One. In a quote-unquote normal situation, this would mean certain death. But guys, this is anime. More specifically, My Hero Academia. And in this anime, there are multiple ways people decide to not stay dead. One is by an avatar state-like quirk called One For All, which stores vestiges of its users. Note that it's not confirmed that the users are real and not just copies. I personally believe that they're copies, but this is not a One For All theory video, so let's move on. The second way people decide not to die or are brought back to life is through Dr. Garaki's Nomu creations, and I believe that the latter applies to All For One. Now you could say that All For One might have had a regeneration quirk which he could have used to regenerate his head, but that's highly unlikely since you'd have to assume that All Might just left the second he blew his head off, which is clearly not what happened. Also, if All For One was at the brink of death, it would have been in his best interest to not wait until All Might had left to regenerate his head. He would have needed to do it as soon as his head was blown off in order to survive, and that's if he can regenerate his head after it has been blown off. And that's a big if. I say if because what we know about the Nomus is that their weakness is their brain. Even though they can regenerate from just their head alone, once you destroy their brain, that power becomes useless, and that would also be the same for All For One. So no, All For One did not regenerate his head. And this could also mean that even though quirks are a part of their DNA, it's still activated by a part of their brain, much like the metahumans from a TV show called Heroes, which simply means that without a head or a brain, the quirks are useless. There are also other similarities between My Hero Academia and Heroes, such as Peter Petrelli, who is the hero of the series that has the ability to copy the abilities of other metahumans he comes into contact with. And Sailor, who is the villain of the series, takes the abilities from the metahumans by eating a certain section of their brain, thus killing them. So Peter, much like One For All, copies abilities and uses them to help people, while Sailor, much like All For One, takes power for himself. Also at one point, Peter and Sailor were thought to be brothers, but that was a hard lie. So both series had some similarities, and I'm sure if you were to dig further, we'd find more, but this is not a comparison video, so let's move on. What I believe happened is that Dr. Garaki either removed All For One's body from the morgue or the battlefield itself and revived him as a Nomu, thus his horrific disfigured baked potato, much like other Nomus. Now the real question is, what kind of Nomu is he? It's obvious that he is above the high-end Nomus because of his intellect and dialect, but is he a puppet or one that is allowed its freedom to do as it pleases? As seen with Kurogiri, who is confirmed to be a Nomu, he's highly intelligent and thinks somewhat independently. He's also somewhat capable of accessing memories of when he was alive, as seen in chapter 253, but with great difficulty. This could also be the case for All For One, only there are no restrictions placed on him in regards to his intelligence nor access to his memories. But what if that's not the case? What if All For One is Dr. Garaki's puppet? This would be a massive plot twist, which would see Dr. Garaki assume the Tobi/Obito Uchiha role of the series, much like Tobi from Naruto, who pretended to be the weakest member of the Akatsuki whilst leading it from the shadows. Dr. Garaki could be the mastermind behind it all, however we have to wait until we receive more information on the character. Also, from what we know about the Heroes Rising movie, the 9 character seems to have a version of All For One, so it's not far-fetched to say that the Doctor might be the true villain of the series. I have some more theory, chapter, and anime review videos coming soon, so stay locked in by subscribing to my channel and hitting that notification bell. If you enjoyed this video and found it informative, go ahead and drop a like down below to show your support. Also let me know what you guys thought by commenting down below. That's it for me. Thanks for watching.
Plus Ultra.